Hey guys! Well, today we are back at it with another review. Today we are going to be talking about Google and their home automation. Now Black Friday has come and gone, and I actually went out and picked myself up 2 items. I spent a little bit of money and bought myself a Nest Mini and a Google Home Hub. I did not get the Home Hub Max, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But I want to talk to you guys about this, about home automation. Now, I live out in the country, and I really haven't up until this point gone, I really need home automation. I don't really need all these fancy lights and cameras. Well, until I started hanging out with people who kind of showed me the errors in my way and why these things are really nice to have. So, like I said, I'm really starting my journey here, so this is more of a introduction for me to this than a full review for people who already have this stuff. Now, I started out about 3 years ago with the Amazon Echo Dot, and I thought it was a nice little feature. I didn't really use it to its full potential. And I really just wanted it for, hey Echo, what's the temperature outside? Or Echo, what's the time? Something that when I'm doing something else, I can just kind of talk to it and it can set everything else up for me. I really didn't use it for its music feature. I didn't really use it at all. I just kind of had it sitting here on my desk and I would talk to it when I needed to. But Black Friday came around, I had some great deals on some Google products, and I decided to make the switch. So the reason that we went with the Nest Mini is I wanted something for the bedroom. I wanted something for when I wake up in the morning, I can say, hey, what is the weather outside? So that way that I know what I'm gonna dress like. And then as I walked out of the bedroom, I wanted something that I could view and interact with and say, hear the news, and say, hey, good morning. Now, obviously I'm not saying the word because I don't want them to activate, for obvious reasons. We don't want to be having that going on there. But I wanted to have something that would give me some photos to remind me of the good times, remind me of things that have recently happened. And honestly, I really love the Google environment. I love how everything meshes together. You can have your Google Photos and your Google Music, which is now going to be Music, YouTube, or YouTube Music. They are merging, so they're creating one more synced environment. And I really like having all of these environments built together. Now, I'm somebody who goes and runs Apple, and you're probably sitting there going, well, why didn't you go with the Apple route? And honestly, I don't see that Apple is at the stage that Google and even Amazon are at. They really haven't entered into the home automation that Google has. Google really has the name to go with right now. Everything is compatible with Google, is what it seems like to me, at least. So that's really where I wanted to start. Now maybe a few years down the road I'll switch over to Apple and I will be a fully Apple environment, but until then we're gonna stick with Google as I really like it. Now I do want to talk to you a little bit about this. I really like some of the features on it. I'm going to show you guys the app in a minute. We're going to switch over to an app view and you guys will be able to see as I'm going through it what it looks like. I really love this because I can set up all of my Nests or all of my devices in the house as a group, and then I can play music throughout the house. So if I have more devices that are Google Assistant compatible, I group them all together and I create one giant sound system throughout my house. Without having to have a bunch of wires running to everything, they all pair together, mesh together, and then they work. I really like that. Now you guys are probably going to want to see the app and kind of see what's inside of it, and let's jump into that. This is the Google Home, and this is where you're going to be able to control and set up everything. Let's jump into it. Alright, so now we can see that I am in the app. And inside of here, I don't have much set up. I have Office and the bedroom. I have my Google Home Hub, and I have my Nest Mini. One's called the Office, one's called the bedroom. And then at the bottom you see here, I have groups called Music. And this is basically these two speakers connected So when I'm listening to music, I can go from one room to the other and have the sound in both of them. Now, there are some really cool features in here. We can go and see that we have media, and we can set up my different media setups. I can go and play music on Pandora, setting it up just with 1 or 2 different speakers. I can go and call home. I can actually press the broadcast button and have it talk to all of my speakers. So if I'm sitting there and I would like to broadcast while I'm not home and say talk to the animals, I can go and broadcast and say, "Hey Wally, how's your day going?" And he can hear my voice. Now, down here we have routines, and this one's actually a really cool thing. We have bedtime, commuting home, commuting to work, good morning, I'm home, leaving home, sleep, and work day. These are the routines that we can actually set up and tell different devices, once we have different devices, what we want it to do. So, let's look at bedtime. I say bedtime or good night, and this is how it will go and work. Now, since I have an iPhone, some of these are not going to work. Like set phone volume to 0, that will only work with your Android. But we can actually go and tell the different things what to do. We can go and say bedtime, and then it will tell me the weather tomorrow. It'll adjust the thermostat to the temperature that I like to sleep at. It will arm the security. It will lock the doors, and it can just turn off my display so that way that everything kind of goes to sleep. And I don't have to go and make sure that every little thing is connected. Now the thing is that I don't have a thermostat connected yet. That is one of my next purchases, and I do need to go and switch over to the locks. I'm looking at Quick Set. I can really set this up to do a bunch of things so that way that I have peace of mind that they're going to happen. That I don't have to go and check the door. I can go to bed and say, okay, good night, and it will set it up and shut down my system, shut off all my lights, shut off what I want it to, or turn things on where I want it to. Turn on the air conditioner, or turn the temperature to a certain temperature for me to sleep comfortably, which I really like. Now you can also set this up for when you're commuting home. So maybe you have the temperature of the house set, the air conditioner turns on at 80 degrees, so that way that your house doesn't get above 80. But when you get home, you want it to be nice and cool at a cool 75 degrees. You can tell it when you are commuting home, it will turn the air conditioner on and get the house ready for you. And that way that you're not having to deal with saying, well, today I may be coming home from work at 5, but tomorrow it could be 7, and having the air conditioner running longer than what you want it to. Or turning on lights. You can always say, hey, commuting home, and the lights are going to turn on and get everything set up for you. Honestly, that is just an awesome feature, being able to set up all these different actions for your system. Now let's go in for a little bit of a closer up on the different products. Now I wanted to start off by looking at a comparison of the original Amazon Dot, as some of us still have those, so let's take a look at that compared to the Nest Mini. So size comparison, the Dot is a little bit smaller. But the Dot does have something, or doesn't have something that the Nest does that I really like. You can mount it to the wall. And obviously, as you can see here on the Echo Dot, we don't have any mounting setup. It does come with the cable. This is about a 5-foot cable with a plug. Honestly, it works. I don't need to have something that can be plugged and unplugged, as once this gets plugged in, it should never be unplugged unless I'm going to move it and plug it into the next place. Now, something that we can't see since it's not plugged in is that you do have dots on here, and you'll have actual lights that come up, and that will be able to control the volume. Obviously, you don't have to press a button to control the volume. You can literally say, hey Google, turn the volume to 50%, and it will actually do that. Honestly, these are really nice, and you can kind of hide them behind your bed, or kind of hide them in a place where you can still hear it, but it doesn't have to be this visible blob or wart on your wall, or even on your desk if you don't want it. You can kind of hide it up under things, so that way that it's available to you when you want it, where you need it, and that's pretty cool. So that is the Google Nest Mini. This is the size difference. Let's jump over and actually grab the camera and look at this hub. Now, looking at the Google Home Hub, this is the Google Home Hub and not the Google Home Hub Max, which means it does not have the camera right here in the middle for you to be able to use as an extra camera for security or anything else. This is a 7-inch touchscreen with a light sensor. It does have a full range speaker as its base, so that way that you're going to get a lot of sound out of it. It has voice match, which means that if you want to set it up so only you can use it, you don't want other people being able to access your device and make changes, you can actually set that up. You can do this as multi-room audio, meaning that this device, like I said, will connect to all the other Google devices if you would like it to. It is Bluetooth 5, it works with Android and Apple, which means that as somebody who is Apple, I'm gonna enjoy this too. The other nice thing is that since it is a Wi-Fi device, it's working on the two bands, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands. So if you're preferring one over the other, or your Wi-Fi is farther away and you want to make sure that it's set up and getting a good high-speed internet, you can do that as well. Now, here's something cool. Okay, Google, good morning.
Good afternoon, Atticus. The time is 1:21 p.m. Right now it's 48 degrees and sunny. Today, it'll be sunny with a forecasted high of 51 and a low of 28. Have a great day. Here's the latest news.
Okay, Google, stop. Now, let's go and switch through a few of the different screens that we have. If we go and swipe down, we can see here we can control, we've got media, communicate, discover. These are the different ways that you can learn about your device. You've got recipes. It has more things on here, which is really cool. You can play games, you can use it as Be My Interpreter, and you can actually switch through and see more things about your device. So you're not just sitting there going, well, I don't know how to use this. It will actually help you learn as you go along. Now, going back, we can go to just the photo frame, and this will show you all of the photos that you set up. You put this all into Google Photos, and you're gonna have to have a Google email address to set all of this up, but at this point, who doesn't have a Google email address? So again, we can switch through, and we can have your afternoon, which tells you the news, the weather, and if we were to have more devices, we can have it set up to tell it more things. Now, down here is where we have different things. We have our brightness control, which we can bring all the way down to 1. Very dark, but it's still usable at night. We have the volume. I have it set at an 8, which is what's comfortable for me. We have my alarm, which tells me how loud it's going to be when it goes off. This is the Do Not Disturb feature, which means that if people are calling and I don't want them to call through on my device, I can turn this on. If I do this one, I have all of my alarms. This is where I would set them. Right here is where we have the option for telling Google there's a problem. And then last but not least, we have settings, which we can go in here and actually look at all of this information. So as we can see, Google Photos, my networks and feedback, all of the information about this which we may need. Now, this is really just a first look, as I intend to put more smart devices in my home, and so you'll be seeing this device more and more as we go along. Honestly, I've had this now for about 5 days, and it's pretty cool. It works really well. I love being able to see photos. I usually have this set to more personal photos that obviously I don't want shown on the internet, so I can see things that I want to see. Overall, it's a cool device to have. It's nice to be able to have smart home automation tell you all the information that you want right at your fingertips and being able to do things. So when I say, hey, so-and-so, good morning, things will happen. Lights will turn on, different things can happen for me, so that way that I don't have to go and ensure that whatever I want happening happens. So if you have a plug that is turning something on for you, say Christmas tree, you can say for your evening routine, your good evening, and your Christmas tree will light up and your lights will dim and you can have things happen that you want it to do. It's a really awesome thing to have, and honestly, with the way that the world is going, I love having things to make my life a little bit easier, and Google is really helping us out with that. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave a like and let us know down in the comments what you guys think, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.